Why is America so damn fat? How would you answer that?
I think the path to slavery is downhill. And that's something that people don't get taught when they're younger, is that if you just follow the plan that's been presented to you, you will end up as a slave. If all you do is think that, well, if I go to college and I get good grades, then I'm going to have a good job and I just do what I'm told, I'm going to get paid well. It's like you're not going to be homeless doing that, but your life's going to be really hard. And so everything in your life that's been created by somebody else has been created the way it's been created to benefit them more than you. And so a lot of times people end up in their 30s and 40s and they're not making as much money as they thought they would. And they're in more debt than they thought they'd be in. And they spent too much on a car that they don't really need. And maybe they bought a house that's too big for what they can afford. And maybe they started a family before they were financially ready with a woman who wasn't the right person to start it with. And then all of a sudden, you're working a job that you don't really like, and it places demands on you that you can't really contend with. And then your family situation is a little bit overwhelming. And you look at your finances, and they're not as good as they could be. And so, what do people turn to? They turn to drugs. And the most common drug in the United States is food, because food makes people feel comfortable. Food is designed to make people feel comfortable. In fact, the tobacco scientists, back when tobacco was becoming majorly stigmatized by Congress and the general science community, the tobacco companies started buying up food companies, RJR Nabisco, right? And they started repurposing the scientists who were paid to create addictive nicotine products like cigarettes. They repurposed them to create addictive food products. And so once you realize that these comfort foods are designed to do the same thing cigarettes do, and your life has been designed to be hard for someone else's benefit, then you realize that we don't have a food problem. We have a nation of addicts who don't have the proper coping mechanisms to deal with the fact that the path to slavery is downhill and they never charted their own path. And every year it becomes harder and harder to pivot and reverse course. And so they just go for easy, fast, exogenous dopamine, not realizing that they can self-source their own dopamine and they can build themselves out of the rut that they're in, because that entire concept of self-sourcing your own dopamine, creating your own plan, not depending on a third party to tell you that you're doing good enough and you're on the right path, is so foreign to them that 9 out of 10 of them have nothing to aspire to other than being someone else's highly regarded slave or servant.